Now we've come to the moment that we're all here for. In the words of one newspaper article, as is captioned, to try to think one of the counties and states, the country's finest citizens, Senator Ed Price. A man who has achieved so much in his personal and professional life, a man who does not know how to say no. If you ever go into his office, you'll find more awards and certificates than any office I've ever been in, and I've been on a lot. My daddy used to tell me when I was a boy that family and friendship are sacred trusts. Senator Price, sir, you have given all us here something sacred, something that has touched each and every one of us in a profound and positive way. It's my belief that all human beings strive through some form of religion, some spirituality, or some mythology to achieve that which is immortal. And so tonight we will share a short version of a 45-minute video done on behalf of Senator Price, down to his 8-minute version. As this video would demonstrate, Senator Price, you have so many friends that you've influenced and touched in so many ways. And yes, sir, we are very proud of you. We're here to show our respect, our honor, and yes, sir, our love. That in our minds make you have achieved something in the form of immortality. Sir, on behalf of your friends that will appear here tonight, and I think it's at least over 450 people here tonight. We have 44, 45 tables, and some people standing around. On behalf of all of them, sir, I now salute you.
I regret that Michelle and I could not join you tonight, but both of us extend our best wishes for a successful event. Ed Price was one of my predecessors representing Manatee County in the Florida Senate. I first met Senator Price in 1973 when he was on the board of directors of First Federal Savings of Manatee County, and I was employed there. Believe me, he received the same level of respect and admiration then that he does today.
Ed Price is always a gentleman. That's the first thing that I should say. He is probably the most respected individual in this county. He is a person that I know Democrats and Republicans and independents all respect and admire.
He is one of those rare people who had a vision for Manatee County, not just, oh, I was born and raised here and I want to keep it just like it is and I don't want anything to change. I think Ed realizes what's going on in the world around him at whatever stage, and I think that's been portrayed in everything that he's done.
He's an excellent role model for anyone. He's probably done as much or more for the community from a social standpoint than anyone I know of, and he's given of himself to the community and to the state of Florida unselfishly, and I have nothing but the highest admiration for Senator Price.
What a special privilege it is for me tonight to have the opportunity to share with you about an extraordinary gentleman, a friend of our family, someone that I have treasured all of my life. The many opportunities that we've had to spend time together. He has been a mentor, a teacher, a person that has given me all of the many blessings that I've experienced in my life.
Ed was a people person. He was a very compassionate individual, and his roots were very close to the earth, as a lot of us that are natives.
Ed and Elise have been together for a lot of years and have known and loved each other well, and they have both known and loved the community well too, and have done so many great things, and I'm just real proud to have them for friends.
Well, Lawton coveted his counsel. He knew this territory. He knew the Bradenton area, the Manatee County. He could always be, Lawton always relied on him for the straight answer and for what was best. And one of the great joys of the political life, as I look back on it, is the people, that you got to know and love. And Ed Price is just priceless. He is priceless.
He was a consensus builder, someone who could reach across party lines, could reach across geographical boundaries to find the solutions that were necessary to improve the quality of life for all Floridians.
In these turbulent times, when so many of our elected leaders fall so short of measuring up, I look at Ed Price and one word immediately comes to mind: respect. He epitomizes the word. He earned the respect that so many pay him by respecting others throughout his career.
He's never failed to remind me, to help me, to guide me, to let me know what he thought without pressure. And sometimes that kind of activity is far more effective. And that's probably a word that I think when you have high respect, high regard, as Ed Price has, from the community, a word from him is a word for the wise.
A lot of people don't know that, but he's a genuine war hero. I think he flew 28 missions in the 8th Air Force during World War II. A lot of people don't know that. He never was boastful about that, but he did, so I certainly think that should be remembered and told about Mr. Price.
I remember when Tropicana first went public, there was a group of us that went to the New York Stock Exchange for the opening day of sales. We sat down at a long conference table, and the first thing I did, I looked over and Ed was scribbling down names of all of the people that were there. And as a result, he knew people not only in the community, but in the state and in the federal government. And he was a listening post for those of us that didn't have the ear of anybody else. And he served very well in that capacity.
My husband, Wilbur Boyd, had great respect and admiration for Senator Price. Ed Price was elected to the Senate the same year that Wilbur was elected to the House of Representatives, and they always worked so well together.
When I think about Ed Price, I think about someone who was there in all of those times, who represented and demonstrated integrity and in character in everything that he did and the way he conducted himself.
Throughout my life, Senator Price, you have been the epitome of the true Southern gentleman. And even today, you are the perfectly dressed man and the best mentor of anybody any of us could ask for.
Over the years, I've looked to him as a sort of mentor, calling on him from time to time for advice on an especially knotty local issue. There is no other person in this town for whom I have as much respect.
Senator Ed Price, this tribute is a small way of recognizing your continuous service to our community, to the state of Florida, and to the nation. You have been a shining example for all of us. And so let me just say humbly, thank you.
Senator Price, I respect you and I admire you, and I thank you for everything that you have ever done for the citizens of Manatee County. Thank you, sir. I salute you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is the edited version to 8 minutes. So we will present that to Senator Price and the 45-minute version. But I must say, I need to ask the question, is Charles Clapsaddle and his staff awesome or what? To take a 45-minute video and make it flow so well has to be some kind of true genius. And we thank you very much, Charlie, and your staff. In addition to, he's got so many plaques. So we thought we'd do something different. He actually has, we'll give him the 45-minute version sometime tomorrow or the next day. The 8-minute version is already you just saw. So what we also thought we would do is give him the picture of the facility that we named after him. And I think he can put that over his mantle someplace. And so what we're going to do is call that the Edgar H. Price Jr. Lifetime Achievement Award. So, sir.
Well, how do you say thanks to what's happened here tonight? This is the most sterling moment in my lifetime. And I've been to a few and had a few awards, but never anything like this. And I particularly appreciate, in addition to those you've just seen on this video, appreciate what they had to say, but to every person who's come here tonight to pay tribute not only to me, but also to the best healthcare organization in the state of Florida, as far as I'm concerned. That's Manatee Rural Health Service and our new foundation. My wife Elise was unable to attend, and she's here in spirit. And I would like to just simply say, as I think about what has been said about me by so many people here, and so many old friends who I haven't seen in a long time, I'm so glad to see. Some came even though they were not really able to be out and about, but they came anyway. But I'd like for you all to know that anything that I've been able to accomplish or anything I've been able to do has been in great measure because of the love and support and encouragement of my wife. And that that which the Lord has blessed us with so abundantly, when we've been able to give to those less fortunate in our community, it hasn't come from Ed, it's come from Elise and Ed, always. And she's been my partner, and we've been happily married for 61 years. Of course, I deeply appreciate the friendship, the relationship I've had with Mickey Prochet and with Charlie Wells. And I want to thank the members of both boards and all of those involved in bringing this affair about tonight. I'm frankly a little bit overwhelmed and had no idea, and seeing old friends like Dave Hamrick and Dick Fitzgerald and so many others on the video a while ago. I appreciate you all taking the time. I think some of them could tell you some other stories that maybe wouldn't be on that video. But I am deeply grateful for every one of them. And I think that I would have had more members of my family here tonight. My son in Tallahassee has got the flu and he couldn't be here. And of course, Elise couldn't be here. But I am happy to have my two granddaughters, Hillary Price and Carrie Whaley. And this past Labor Day, Carrie brought great joy and happiness into our life by presenting us with our first great-grandson. Now, while Mickey was making those remarks about so many wonderful people that are here from both agencies and the community, he mentioned the person that I call the boss, Sylvia, and she's done so much in so many ways and a lot to help make this happen too. But I want to take this opportunity to thank one other person because while Elise stayed home and kept the home fires burning, and while she raised the family and allowed me to have the time to go out and work in various community organizations, both here and in the state. This person has helped me in my business life and helped me continue to have an office open at the age of 90. And as I told our landlord, when he wanted to have a 3-year lease on our office, I said, well, that'll be with one caveat, and that is if I become incompetent or die, the lease is canceled. And he agreed to that, and it's written into the lease. But for the past 36 years, Ann Moon has been my secretary, my aide, my assistant, and my good friend. And everything that goes on in my business life or in my political life or in my life in the community, she's been there with her wonderful skills to aid and assist me. I can sit down and write out a statement or write a letter on my yellow tablet without any punctuation, any spacing, or anything else, and always put on it add, delete, and change at your will. And out comes a perfect document every time. Not only has she been that type of person in our business relationship, but she's been a friend to our family and has been helpful to us in many, many ways. I would probably not ever be able to decipher and understand the peculiarities of Medicare, for instance. She takes care of all of that for us and is really sure that I pay the vouchers on our Internal Revenue Service at the proper time, and so many other things. But I do want to publicly thank her for those years of service, and I hope that we'll both continue to have that office open. And you can't find me, but every Monday, if you're looking for me, call the office, and Ann Moon can always find me. And I wanted to... Ann and Jim and Allison are our friends, and we treasure that friendship. I want to join with what's been said about the foundation and about Rural Health Service. And I hope that those of you here tonight, if you have not been acquainted with rural health, that you will take the time to visit one of the sites, contact one of the people in charge, and find out what rural health is all about, and that you'll understand that giving to this foundation, which will support rural health, will do so much to aid and assist particularly those who are less fortunate than many of us. I know that I've seen it happen so many times that a mother and a child badly needing medical care but have no money whatsoever have been able to go to rural health and get that care that they need, or watch those of a family that have very, very little and are expecting a child and receive the wonderful care that they through rural health. And I just have enjoyed having a little bit of relationship with them, and look to do everything in my power in the future to help them continue to help the community. And may I say to each one of you at every table out there, I had a chance to speak to so many of you that I haven't seen in a long time. I love you for coming, and you've really, every one of you, have just put an extra beat in this old 90-year-old heart. And I don't think I'm deserving of any of this, but I do want you to know that I appreciate it, and I'm enjoying it, and there's no way in the world that I could give back enough to Manatee County and the state of Florida for what they've given to me, and it's been a privilege to have a possibility of sharing a little bit of it. And I just deeply thank every one of you and all of those involved for this evening, which has made my life a more wonderful life than ever before. Thank you. God created Seymour Sales and gave him the talents, the time, and the amazing ability to raise funds to develop the Palmetto Youth Center as the finest center in the state of Florida. The Palmetto Youth Center has saved generations of kids from life on the streets, kept them out of trouble, and helped them get an education. Every kid needs a mentor, a teacher, a coach, a best friend, or a hero. And Seymour Sales has been that hero to hundreds of kids who've made their Palmetto Youth Center their second home. In addition to all of this, through this Humanitarian Award Banquet at the Youth Center, Seymour has done more to promote multicultural understanding, tolerance, and to keep the dream alive than anyone in the history of Manatee County. One night in the future, we'll be sitting at another Humanitarians Award Banquet, and we'll look down to the far end of the speaker's table and see a man down there in a dark suit with his arms closed and quietly surveying the crowd to be sure everything is going as planned. That man will be one of those kids, now grown, whose life was changed completely because Seymour Sales was his hero. During all the days of my life, I'll treasure the memories of this night when we honor one of the finest friends and finest men I've ever known, Seymour Sales.
The year was 1997, and the Kiwanis Club of Bradenton was celebrating the 75th year of service to the community with a birthday party. At that time, I had the honor of introducing Ed Price as our moderator and speaker. I'm equally honored today to be able to introduce at our 89th year of community service birthday celebration to introduce Ed Price to us again. Ed joined the Kiwanis Club in 1948. Some of you were not born then, probably, I'm not sure. He served as a club president in 1955. Ed's past accomplishments are way more than we have time to stand here and tell you about today. He served as a state senator from 1958 through 1966 and was the executive vice president of Tropicana. Senator Price is credited with providing strong leadership in the public and private organizations that impacted the growth of agriculture here in Manatee County and the state of Florida. He made significant contributions to Florida's agricultural economy through the service to agriculture research and education. Ed has received many, many awards, again, too many to mention, but I would like to share with you a few. He was a distinguished citizen, named Distinguished Citizen here in Manatee County. He was inducted to the State Agricultural Hall of Fame. Senator Price, if you would come up and join me, I'd like to hold your applause for just a second, because there's one more honor that this club would like to bestow upon him today as our guest. The Hickson Fellowship Award is named in honor of George F. Hickson, the first president of Kiwanis International. This is the highest award that Kiwanis bestows on members for outstanding contributions. The Hickson Award symbolizes the generosity and dedication of those who have given of their time and resources to their community to make it a better place for everyone. At this time, I'm humbled, Ed, to award you with a George F. Hickson, a plaque here. And if you will allow me, I would like to present you with the medallion. Now you can applaud.
Mr. President.
Let me take it for you right here.
Mr. President and fellow Kiwanians and guests, that's totally unexpected, and I'm deeply honored, and I deeply appreciate the presentation of what Bob and the club. When Brenda wrote me a note and said that several of us would be asked to make a few remarks, that's what I plan to do, make a few short remarks. But I'm really happy to be here at my club, and I wish that some of those that are long gone were here to join with me. As Bob said, back in 1948, I just returned from World War II, and I was out managing a gladiola farm in Terracea, and a good friend of high school and college days, Joe Bill Rood, came out and said, "Ed, I'd like for you to come and visit a club that I'm a member of, and I think you would enjoy." And I said, "Fine." And they took me to the Tea Cozy down on the Manatee River, where the Kiwanis Club was meeting, and I became a member of that club within that week in 1948. That's about 63 years ago. Yeah, a lot of you were not born then. And but I would, in passing, I'd like to say to the members of the club specifically, what Joe Bill Rood did was to go out and find a friend, a neighbor, or someone he knew well who he would like to see become a member. And our club will only grow and will get back to the stature that it used to have if that same thing is done here. And so I urge the membership to not forget, to try to find someone that you know that would be a good member, invite them to come and be your guest, and see if we can't build up the membership. I'm not going to make a speech. I just want to say that Kiwanis, I go back, after joining a few years later, I took 20 members of the club up to Orlando, talked them into going with me, and went up there and nominated Sterling Hall, who was president of Kiwanis when I came in, to be governor of Florida Kiwanis, and he won going away. We had taken those 20 members up there, and we made Sterling governor, and he did a wonderful job of it. I look back and think about the people like Mr. Bob Bell. Without, he didn't start the Braden Trail Park by any means, but after it was started, why he kept it going and made a major contribution to this club and to the community by doing what he did for the trailer park, and ultimately, of course, the funds that we put into such things as the Boys Club, and remembering the late Vernon Desir, who talked the club into using some of that money to build the Manatee Civic Center. And then we had so many other places, the Girl Scout hut and whatnot. And thinking back of people that belong to this club, like Paul Bartley, who Paul made videos of everything that we did and gave me the privilege of being the narrator of that video, and so that we could show it to other people. And we used to have Archie's office down here, Archie Powell, and Archie lived for Kiwanis, and you didn't go in a membership in Kiwanis unless you went through Archie's office, and he conducted business there every Tuesday. And we had so many committees that were so valuable and wonderful and still are. I talked to John Hamner not long ago. He was living with his daughter up the country, and the first thing he wanted to know was how was the scholarship committee getting along at Kiwanis. That was the thing that made his week, was being able to work on the scholarship committee. Our committee structure was tremendous, and although he didn't begin Key Club, but the leadership provided by many, like John Vita, who with the Key Club, to build it into what it is today, a wonderful organization. I think of what we were, and we were different then, and we were an all-male club, and I had the privilege of seeing my granddaughter's aunt, Julie Ross, become a member of the club and become the first woman president of a Kiwanis club anywhere that I knew of. And she did a beautiful job. And I know that if Julie were in town, she would be here today. Kiwanis is it was a catalyst for so many things in this community. People used to say that all the movers and shakers belonged to the Kiwanis Club of Bradenton. Well, I guess we were the only club, so that was the one they belonged to. It was so nice to see the members of these other clubs here today, and people that have done a good job in their own clubs and for the Kiwanis in Florida. It's meant to me, I enjoyed working on all the committees. One of them, the Agriculture Committee, late Raymond Lee, who worked so hard with that and turned it over to Brenda Rogers, and she's rammed it on through from there. And they give the Agriculture Hall of Fame Award every year. Things of that nature bring the community into Kiwanis and Kiwanis into the community. I can think of so many people that Julie Ross's dad, Dozier, the late Dozier Hilliard, well, he vied with Kay Rowlett to see who could have the most years of attendance without failure. Kay beat him, and Dozier was right behind him. If they'd go overseas or anywhere else, they always went to a Kiwanis meeting somewhere. And I have not been able to attend much this year. I'm a senior member, and I pay my dues, but I hope that I'll be able to come more often. But Kiwanis is something important to this community. All you have to do is attend an affair at the Boys Club or any of the other organizations that were made possible by the funds that came from the trailer park in those days and from our foundation now. We have a large foundation, one that does many, many things for many people, and I hope that we'll always do it. Building this hall, we're the only club I know of in the state of Florida that has a hall of this nature for its club meetings, and I hope it'll always be that way. I would like to say to each one of you that you've honored me today with very unexpectedly. I appreciate that more than you know, and I'd like to thank each one of you for the work that you do in Kiwanis and urge you to reach out and bring more of your brethren in so that the club will grow and prosper and will be able to do many, many more things than it's done in the past. Thank you.
Now some remarks about one of my favorite couples in this community. First, let me tell you about Elise I. Price. She's a resident of Manatee County and has been for 79 years. Whoops, we're telling your age there. She has a wonderful history. I learned so much in gathering together these remarks. She attended the first grade at Palmetto Elementary School, graduated from Palmetto High School, and then went on to Florida State College for Women, which of course is now FSU. But then she returned to Manatee County in the Depression days of the late 1930s to be a public school teacher. She had to wait until the Anna Maria Island Elementary School had 25 students to enroll before being hired to teach. The only other teacher was the principal. She had the 4th, 5th, and 6th grade with a limited budget required. After only 1 year at Anna Maria, she was assigned to Samoset Elementary School at a salary of $60 a month, folks, where she taught both 3rd and 4th grade together because the school's budget could not afford a teacher for every class. During her 4 years at Samoset, she developed her lifelong desire to help students receive an education when there was not sufficient money for them to attend school. She frequently brought young students home to give them an opportunity to see their first movie or to enjoy other conveniences that they didn't have. In later years, she watched high school students who, for a variety of reasons, could not afford to go away to college. She became frustrated with that as they were unable to obtain a college education close to home. So the founding of Manatee Junior College, now MCC, opened the doors to those students pursuing their higher education. Over the years, Elise has quietly provided financial assistance to those students who wish to attend MCC. Because she believes that every high school graduate deserves a chance at a college education, her husband, Edgar H. Price Jr., recently established in her name the Elise Ingram Price Endowed Scholarship in her honor. Even though Senator Price attended the University of Florida and was a former trustee at New College and Stetson University, and was a charter member of the Foundation for USF, he said he established this scholarship at MCC because it provided the best educational opportunity for every high school graduate in Manatee County, and especially to pay tribute to his wife that you can just tell they're still in love after all these years, for her service and interest in public education that's touched so many lives. Elise's loving husband, Edgar, has also been a strong supporter of MCC and community colleges in general, since working with the late Governor Leroy Collins to help establish our whole community college system that Dr. Rosen told you so proudly about. In 1957, Ed Price joined with the late J. Hartley Blackburn, that we've got a building named after him, who was then Manatee County Superintendent of Schools, in a successful effort to locate a junior college in Manatee County. And Ed, just by a fortuitous coincidence, today is the 46th anniversary, the birthday of MCC, exactly to this date 46 years ago, and you were such an important part of that. Following his election to the state Senate in 1958, Ed was appointed chairman of the Committee on Higher Education and chairman of Appropriations Subcommittee. He successfully convinced his colleagues of the value-added bonus of community college and what they provide for the community, thereby getting appropriate funding for the community college system's building program. Senator Price, on a personal note, was an immediate friend to me when I moved to this area 7 years ago to become president. He constantly gave me his advice and counsel, but most of all his support. And working with the governors of the state, he helped to appoint many good people to serve on our MCC Board of Trustees. So Elise and Ed, it's our pleasure today and privilege to announce that from this day on, the Academic Resource Center at Manatee Community College, the Learning Lab inside this beautiful building, will be named the Elise I. and Edgar H. Price Jr. Learning Lab. So congratulations.
Thank you very much, President Pappas. Elise and I want to personally thank you for proposing that our names be placed on the Learning Lab in this wonderful center that we have today because of the generosity of a truly amazing man whose family was Manatee Community College, and I had the privilege of knowing Ray from the day he came here as a member of the original faculty. Of course, we would like very much to thank the Board of Trustees for voting for us. And I'd like to thank Foundation Executive Director Peg Lowry for her many kindnesses. By placing our names on the laboratory in this wonderful center, you have made Elise and me a part of the Manatee Community College Foundation, Manatee Community College family, a lifetime member, and we appreciate that. You know, as far as I'm concerned, through the years, and now particularly, it's my belief that the Manatee Community College is without doubt the best and the finest state-supported institution of higher learning in the state of Florida. And I think that what we see here today and the opportunities that will be provided for the students yet to come is just going to make it that much better. And I congratulate the faculty, the administration, the staff, the students, and the Board of Trustees that made this possible in Ray's name. All the best. Thank you.
And today, in this high-growth, futuristic area here, I think it's highly appropriate that we also break again from tradition and name a health center after one of the most fantastic people that I have ever known, and that is my good friend, Senator Ed Price. So we're going to have this, the presentations of these. Yeah, we're going to have this put in inside. We're going to give him and his wife one to take home. We're going to hang a plaque and the portrait in there. The Board of Directors and President and CEO of Manatee County Rural Health hereby dedicate this health center as the Edgar H. Price Jr. Children's Family Health Care Center in honor of Florida Senator Ed Price for his tireless and dedication service to Manatee County and the state of Florida. Has a picture on it, and we're going to put one of these, this one inside, and another portrait, which we'll show you in a minute. No, you gotta say something.
No.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mickey. Ms. Lowry. Thank you, Charlie and Rhea and Ed, Frank, everyone that's come up here and said such wonderful words. Sort of like Mickey and mentioned Charlie Wells, and Ed might remember when he was a feisty young man. I certainly do. And it reminds me that some of those that knew me when I was a feisty young man might be amazed at some of the things that have been said here today. You know, having the Children and Family Health Care Center bear my name in this particular location could not be more meaningful to me. I mean, no offense to my fellow neighbors in Bradenton, but because it's north of the Manatee River and is in this particular location right here at Parrish where it all began in 1979, because it reminds me of the fact that when I was 13 years old, I lived on Tercea Island, worked on a farm for $1 a day, went to Palmetto High School for 1 year where I met my wife Elise of 58 years. And she asked me to tell you that she was sorry she couldn't be this morning, but I brought Carrie Price, my granddaughter, as family representative. You know, this organization is one that so many people in Manatee County do not know the magnitude of it and what it's done. And just great tribute was paid a moment ago to the doctors and the nurses and the staff and all the people that go to make up that family. And it is a wonderful organization. Back there in the days when I was working out in the field in agriculture, and Mickey, when he was just a 9-year-old boy, was doing the same thing, we recognized then that there was no such thing as medical health services for ag workers or the poor, certainly not for the children and the families. And about 35 years ago, when I met Mickey and we became close friends, we recognized then that this still was one of the things that was lacking in Manatee County, the fact that there was no medical health care service for the poor, for the children, for the families, and for the field worker. And I think that 22 years ago, this board of directors made a wonderful choice when they selected Mickey Pichet to be president and chief executive officer, because he has carried out the functions and the duties and the responsibilities of that job in a way that I've never seen done in any other organization. I think that in the days to come, you'll see what's already happened and more people will know about it. And Frank said 17, I'm going to say that today that there are 18 healthcare centers and 1 administrative center, 1 located in Hardee County, 2 in DeSoto, Arcadia, and 1 in Sarasota. And where it used to be service to the rural, almost altogether, that's no longer true. Wherever you go today, wherever we have a service area, and I say we because now you're taking me in as part of the Manatee Healthcare family, that the people that live there, the residents, not farm workers or not necessarily people that have been associated with family service, but all the residents are using and will use more in the days to come Manatee Healthcare Service as their healthcare of choice. And that's what's there for them. And they'll never find better treatment, better service, now that they pay for it at a more ridiculously low price. I think today that we have an outstanding board of directors. We have a wonderful staff, and we have a president and CEO who has never been willing to accept anything but excellence in any endeavor in which he has been involved. And I want you to know from the bottom of my heart, while I totally believe it's undeserved, that I appreciate your naming this building after me, and that I hope that in the days to come that I might be of some possible help to Rural Health Care Service to repay you for all that you're doing for me. And I pray that God will continue to bless and watch over and use all the wonderful people that go to make up the Manatee Rural Health Care Service, both now and in all the days to come. And again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you.
I have to say that when Ed Price is abroad or in the room, he turns out a wonderful group of people. You associate with wonderful people in this community. I truly do not have any stories. Usually, if at one of these functions, we can talk about individual incidences, but there were so many times in my life, from the first time that I met Ed Price, through all of my career, that he has been there to give me good sound advice, good help. We formed a Human Relations Council back a number of years ago when there was a terrible problem with the DeSoto Parade. And Ed was on board, and with his wisdom and understanding, we set up something that the county has done in terms of naming streets and doing all those things. So that's a good example. But all I know in Manatee County is that Ed Price was always here. And Ed Price was the senator, not Senator Ed Price, but the senator after he had served. And today is the senator of Manatee County. He's been a standard bearer for government service and an exemplar in business ethics. Elegant, eloquent, he has presence. In a town that celebrates hometown heroes as we do so remarkably most of the time, heroes occur usually in a particular instant. They arise and stand and carry the torch. But role models and mentors and real leaders and real citizens are constant and bold participants in hidden and obscure corners of life, as well as the dramatic accomplishment. That's really Ed Price. I think that of all the things that might have been mentioned by the 9 speakers this morning, and one instance that I gave you, there are probably thousands that he will never reveal to you, because it's always comfortable when you go to someone and say, I need your help. It's a personal matter, or it's something I'm not quite sure of. And I think in that point, the role model and the mentor is not that timid saint waiting in the wings for recognition, but the humble servant with the strength of iron resolve. And that's Ed Price as I know him. And Ed Price, who can be the raconteur. I said he's very eloquent. I want to mix those two things, so I think elegance and eloquence must go together. But I do feel that it's an honor today for me to be able to stand here and say that I've been able to share part of my government's life, my personal life, with a man of this stature. So thank you, Ed, from all of the elected officials in Manatee County, and I feel very comfortable in saying on behalf of the citizens of this county, and Sarasota County too, a lot's been done in bridging gaps. Thank you so much.
I have a couple of brief comments about Senator Price. You know, Mickey Prochet has a real reputation around the administrative offices. I have a budget director that he's real nosy and he's very tight with money. And sometime when he comes over to my office, he actually thumbs through my phone messages. And sometime he'll say, oh, this person called. He said, now, are they going to be asking for money, or are you going to meet with this person? So what he tries to do is he preps me before I go out and speak to groups, because he says, don't be promised them anything. But if he sees Mickey Prochet's name on a little call sheet or whatever, Mickey gets real nervous, because Mickey has a way of persuading you. He can take something that you think is something mediocre, and by the time he leaves my office, it's almost like, man, I wish he'd asked us for money on this before this ever came up or whatever. But Mickey, you do a good job, so I'm sure your board is proud of you there. Just a few brief comments about Senator Price. I've been here 11 years now, and one of the first calls that I received, and Senator Price probably doesn't remember this, but he called me at my office, and he introduced himself by phone, and I'd already heard about Senator Price, and he and I got together for lunch one day here at the Country Club, and just had a great conversation. And later on, I told my wife, I said, I met such a nice gentleman today, and I said, I can tell you, if he's indicative of the represents the people, the citizens here in Manatee County. I told my wife, I said, I think we're going to have a good stay here because of the caliber of person that I think he is. And over the years, sometime we've talked, we haven't met a lot, but I can tell you, he's always left with me from that first meeting back in 1995 because Senator Price has such an institutional memory. And when you're a new person coming into town, it's always good to try to cozy up to people that know what's going on now, a lot of history of what's been going on. And I can tell you, as a county administrator, that really helps you. And to be able to talk to, over the years, someone like Senator Price, and to, whether you got something you need to ask of him, some information or something that you may need help on. Senator Price, you've always been there. And out of our early meeting, he always told me, he said, Ernie, if there's anything that I can ever do to help you or whatever, or give you information, he said, you feel free to call. And I can tell you, in 11 years, Senator Price, I've never forgot that. And I've always been very appreciative that first meeting we had, you let me know and you gave me a comfort level that I could call on you, and it's meant a great deal to me, so I say thank you very much.
I look around the room, any of us, especially the brass boys like Charlie Wells and I were, we always had him to bounce things off of, and he always kept us straight. And in those days when the going got tough, he was usually the tip of the spear that breached the obstacles for us. And for that, I'm so eternally grateful. And thank you again, Senator Price, for all those great times that you shepherded, coached, and taught, mentored all of us. Charles Williams, I'm sure, could say the same thing. I mean, all around the room, we've just been so fortunate to have you in our lives. So, Shoni, you're on. We're going to do the video presentation.
Today, we are all here to honor a great man, a man who has made a significant impact in all of our lives, personally and professionally, Senator Edgar H. Price, Jr. Ed Price was born January 1st, 1918 in Jacksonville, Florida. His parents were Mrs. H.E. Goodwin and Mr. Edgar Hillary Price. By the age of 4, he had already become aware of the inequalities and injustices of life. He decided then that he was here to make a change, to take a stand, to become a pioneer and a humanitarian. Ed Price attended public schools in Louisiana, Texas, and New York. Prior to graduating from Sarasota High School in 1937, he attended Florida schools in Venice, Tampa, Palmetto, and Bradenton. While a student at Sarasota High, he was the president of the student body, captain of the football team, and lettered in basketball and tennis. Despite his success in school, Ed Price was still bothered by injustice, more specifically, segregation and poverty. After completing a year at the University of Florida in Gainesville, Senator Price enlisted as a private in the U.S. military in January of 1941 and progressed to rank sergeant in the Medical Corps. After passing a competitive exam, he went on to become an aviation cadet in 1942. He was commissioned as pilot from the U.S. Air Force School in 1943 and completed 26 combat missions in ETO. He was released to honorable inactive duty in December of 1945. Once out of the military, Senator Price returned to Manatee County. He was determined to make an impact. In 1949, he became the manager of the Gladiolus Growers Association. 6 years later, he became the executive vice president of Bradenton's largest industry, Tropicana Products Incorporated. He focused on providing employment for those desperately in need, while at the same time fueling funds back into his community. As a charter trustee for the Aurora Foundation, Senator Price channeled funds to the United Way, Manatee Youth Ranch, area churches, and many other organizations. Additionally, he became actively involved with the 4-H, the Future Farmers of America, and the Boys and Girls Club of Manatee, just to name a few. In 1958, Ed Price was elected to the state senate, where he served until 1966. During his tenure, he received various awards, including the prestigious Alan Morris Award for Most Valuable Member of the Legislature. As racial tensions escalated, Ed Price once again took a stand. He worked diligently with Leroy Collins, Florida's governor and one of his closest friends, to end racial inequality. Senator Price was key in the movement for integration in Florida schools. Ed Price has dedicated his entire life to service. He now leads a nonprofit consulting firm, Price Company Incorporated, where he continues to help those in need. Senator Price credits his success to his wife, Elise Price, son Gerald Stephen Price, and 2 granddaughters, Hillary and Carrie. One could never sum up the impact Senator Ed Price has made in all of our lives. However, today we thank and honor him for all he has accomplished in his life. Ladies and gentlemen, Senator Edgar H. Price, Jr.
He's done so much for rural health and so much for many things in Manatee County, but when he retired with the rank of colonel, he had some 20 decorations, including the Silver Star and the Distinguished Service Cross, and 10 more. And he was wounded in combat, has the Purple Heart. Doesn't say a lot about those kind of things, but there's more to him than just being the executive, chief executive of the Rural Health Service. I want to. Can I talk a minute? I want to thank, if I may, all the people that came this morning. I want to thank all the friends that are here today. I particularly, of course, want to thank Mickey and the members of the board for letting me have the honor of having my name on that beautiful new center out there. And those of you who know not too much about Manatee Rural Health Service, you need to know, because here's a wonderful agency that started out as just a small agency in Parrish, and 22 years ago, when they were having great difficulties, they called upon Mickey Prochet to come lead them as president and chief executive officer. And that was a wonderful thing for Manatee County. For today, Rural Health Service is totally different. It has 18 health centers, 14 of which are in Manatee County, 1 administrative building, 1 in Hardee County, 2 in DeSoto County, 1 in Sarasota County. And I was absolutely amazed at looking at that beautiful center this morning for children and families, where everything in there is state of the art. This is no longer the Rural Health Service that took care of the ag worker and the field hand, which I was one of, and so was Mickey back in those days. But today, this is a choice, a primary choice for many people as their primary physician, or as their place of going to get health care service. And out in Parrish, for instance, that growing place out there, tomorrow morning, they will accept their first patients, and they'll have pediatric care, among many other things, the first time that children out there will have a place to go. And I can't say enough about a board of directors that serves without pay, volunteer organization, and that Mickey Prochet is this president and chief executive officer that ramrods it and does an outstanding and sterling job. So today you've got a board of directors that's dynamic and visionary. You've got a staff that is highly professional and compassionate, and a president and CEO that has never been willing to accept anything less than excellence for any endeavor in which he's been involved. And it's so thoughtful of you all to be here today, and I'm honored. My wife Elise, my granddaughter Hillary and Carrie, they're pleased too, because this is an honor for the family, just not for me. Thank you, Mickey.
Thank you, Senator Price.
I'd also like to thank Shawnee Price for helping to get this all together in this reception. I'd like to thank Charles Clapsaddle of Manatee Educational TV, who has done such a sterling job of doing all of this for so many and for us. And certainly, I want to thank all of those who put this together this morning, Mickey. say that publicly. Whatever was said this morning, and there was a lot, and whatever's been said here today, you all have got to know that without her patience and her love and support, nothing I've done could have ever been accomplished.
You know, when we talk about Senator Price and all of his impact, when I call a house over the years, no matter how many times I call or how seldom I call, Mrs. Price always recognizes my voice. You know, that's how long I've known them and respected them and felt that kind of freedom to go in and out of their lives and get guidance into my life. So again, for that, we're very appreciative. We have here the board chair, Manatee County Rural Health Services, Inc., the board of directors and the president CEO of Manatee County Rural Health Services, Incorporated, hereby dedicate this health care center as the Edgar H. Price Jr. Children and Family Health Care Center in honor of a great humanitarian and public servant, Florida Senator Ed Price, for his tireless dedication to the people of Manatee County and his selfless service to the state of Florida. Signed, Walter L. Mickey Pritchett, President CEO, Juanine Laurie, Ms. Juanine Laurie, Board Chair. And this is the dedication on Monday, April 3rd, 2006.
Thank you, Ms. Laurie. Come on over a little ways.
Okay, and this is this one says, Manatee County Rural Health Services, Inc., the Board of Directors and the President CEO of Manatee County Rural Health Services, Inc., hereby dedicate this health care center as the Edgar H. Price Jr. Children and Family Health Care Center in honor of Florida Senator Ed Price for his tireless dedication to the people of Manatee County and his selfless service to the state of Florida. And this plaque and that plaque, one of each will go into the health care center and to Senator Price and his wife. And the portrait will also be hung in the health center. And this is a great day, and I thank you for all of your friendship, your dedication and commitment to the people of Manatee County, the state of Florida, and this great nation.
Thank you, my friend. You take that one? I'm going to take it with us.
Yeah, right.